Can I make a point of order, Mr. Mayor, before we move on? I'd like to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
After the last council meeting, I went home and reviewed the sunshine list. Employees over $100,000 a year, and clearly the Adelaide Metcalfe person wasn't on that list. Is that going to be correct?
That was forwarded to our attention last week, and Fran was going to check into that. Didn't know how you'd made out.
I did look into it. They did receive the information on March the 6th. They didn't know why it wasn't on, but the deadline for this information to go on was March 31st. And it will be put on, but I'm not sure when.
Okay. I got one other question, and it's regards to the open house at Suncor at Adelaide Metcalfe School. I'm going to speak very bluntly here. At a couple of council meetings ago, we had a letter from a resident of Adelaide Metcalfe who stated that she was hoping that council would conduct their business in a very open, straightforward, transparent method. I went to that Suncor open house at the allotted time, 6:30 or whatever it was, and I was extremely disappointed to find that there were already members of our council that were invited to attend that meeting, and I found it very surprising that just the night before there was a general council meeting with a lot of people in attendance from the public, and that wasn't discussed for 1 second.
Which wasn't discussed?
The township's proposed, or the council's proposed attendance at the Suncor open house.
Half an hour
Pre-meeting.
The pre-meeting, if you want to call that, for interested landowners and members of Adelaide Metcalfe Council who were interested in going.
Yes.
I don't know if everybody went, but my whole point is getting back to the transparency in the local government. I'm extremely disappointed that that wasn't pointed out at that council meeting that was held exactly the night before that we went there. I mean, there's some other things that went on prior to that meeting, and if it had been my wife involved, the police would have been called. But that's a whole different issue.
You're
but
correct.
Again, it was very disappointing from a member of the residents of the township that some members of council would find it satisfactory to go to that meeting. So my question would be, have you got anything to report?
We went to the meeting. Yes, I think we were all there individually.
Was this the one that Monty McNaughton called?
No, that was open house for Suncor at the school.
I wasn't at
Okay.
that. I was racing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How were you invited?
Same letter that everybody else got.
Well, why wasn't the letter in the...
It was in our
notice?
correspondence.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
The invite?
Yes.
For the half hour early, starting at 5:30?
There was a notice of the meeting at 6 o'clock or something.
But your council was invited to come half an hour early. That's the one I'm talking about.
Council, we were called individually, I think, by Suncor. It wasn't.
There was no invitation. It was done by, like the mayor said, individually by telephone.
So why would council members go individually when the general members of the population in the township weren't invited to go, weren't allowed to go?
Well, I went early because it was the only time I could go because I had another meeting afterwards. And I was going to go early anyways and see if they'd let me in, and they did. And I don't know what the reason of the other councillors going. It's none of my business and it's none of your business.
Well, I think it's part of my business. You folks represent my
yes, and we go there
well-being.
we go there to get the same information that you went to get.
So why was it a private meeting ahead of time?
It wasn't private.
From 5:30 to 6 o'clock it was.
No, there was no private meeting as far as I know. I would
I
have.
couldn't get in.
Okay. We didn't guard the door. We didn't set up the meeting. We just went.
The security person that was guarding the door.
That's fine. We didn't have anything to do with that either.
Yeah, because you guys all had your township lapel
Well, that
pins on.
still had nothing to do with us. It still had nothing to do with us.
So it
We
gets
went
back,
to the
it
meeting.
gets back to my point about the.
Nick has a comment, just hold on 1 second.
I went to that meeting. It would be probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. Harvey did see me enter the facility. Esther also saw me enter the facility. It would have been probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. I did not have my lapel pin on, as you indicated. I was there as a citizen of the community to talk to the Suncor reps. I talked to Diane Zimmerman for a while. I did not talk to any of the other individuals because I had a fairly long discussion with Diane, primarily to do about the decommissioning stuff.
And I appreciate that, and that's fine.
And you
I
know,
don't have an issue with that.
If we can't, as individuals, meet or talk to each other. Friday evening, I was at a Knights of Columbus fish fry at All Saints Parish Hall. Adrian DeBrun was there. I was there. After I was done supper, I went to talk with Adrian DeBrun. Is that okay?
Yeah, but
You
that's
do
not a
perfectly
quorum.
what you want.
That's not a quorum. That's okay. And as long as it's only discussing items that aren't business related, that's fine. As long as you don't have a quorum and you're discussing business items. And there wasn't,
We know we
there
can't.
wasn't a quorum
We
that
know we
night.
can't do that.
Exactly, and there wasn't a quorum that night. There was a deputy
You may
mayor and
suspect
mayor.
that we may do that, but we know we can't do that.
No, my issue probably mostly was that there was an invitation for councillors to attend half an hour early.
And we
And
didn't
that-
initiate the invitation.
No, but some members chose to accept it and go.
Yes, but we didn't initiate the invitation.
But you knew that probably prior to the council meeting the night before.
I can't remember whether they called us Monday or Tuesday.
I didn't get a call at all.
I didn't get a call either.
No.
I didn't get an email either.
But I just went just like the rest of the people, I just talked to people individually. We didn't have a meeting as a council with
So really my point is, Mr. Mayor, is that to go back to what was said at a couple of council meetings ago about the transparency that me as a resident of the township really would expect the council to show. That clearly was
You know what really bugs me is you were concerned about us gathering as a quorum at the Suncor thing, but there was no issue with all of us being at the Monty McNaughton gathering a few weeks before.
That was
That's a
open
double
to
standard.
everybody.
We were all there.
That was
So is
open
this
to
one.
everybody.
No,
No, it wasn't.
it was closed. It
People
was a
from the
closed
public
meeting.
were blocked.
It was a public meeting.
No, it
We
wasn't.
weren't allowed in for that half hour leading up. We were not.
Okay.
That's all.
And that's got
Is that
nothing to do with us.
No,
Oh,
but may I just say, knowing that there's a lot of friction, and to be in your position, all of you, you want to diffuse as much as possible, because there is this great sense of distrust because of information on agendas that has not been done in black and white. So because of missing information, there's a lot of distrust. I'm just going to be totally honest. There's a lot of distrust. And if I would know that, if I was in your position and I knew that people are distrusting, we have to be so open that we're so transparent that even if they might not agree with what we say, we're just shooting perfectly straight. We're absolutely transparent, we're absolutely open. So when given this phone call, email, or whatever at 5:30, knowing that the rest of the public was expecting it at 6, and even if they showed up a little bit early, I wasn't one of them, showed up a little bit early, and they were blocked, I mean, you knew that the general public was not invited for that 30 minutes. And if you're trying to be transparent, and you're trying to shoot straight, and you're trying to be honest, why couldn't you have said, the meeting starts at 6, we'll see you there?
If
That's
that,
all we're saying is transparency, help the people of this township
And they
trust
called,
you more.
they called and invited us for, I guess it was 5:30, I can't remember the times. So, why wouldn't we go?
I'm just saying, when you knew the
And
general
we didn't,
public,
and we didn't all go as a council. We all went as individuals. So,
I'll say that I went at 6:30, during the public time,
Mhm.
and I'm sure, I think I've seen most or some of you here gather there, but I did not attend the prior 5:30 to 6, I believe that's what it was.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, because this is where we're at, and I'm just trying to speak bluntly, but courteously, that so many people in the township are not trusting you. They're not trusting you. They're not trusting you. And I would want to be trusted. I want to be able to trust my kids. I want to be able to trust my grandkids. So when they don't shoot straight, even if I don't like what I hear from them, but they're honest and open and they shoot straight to me, I'm going to trust them. And I'm asking this council to please step up to the plate and be open and be honest to the people in this community. That's all we're asking. Be open and honest and shoot straight.
okay, thank you. Moving on, Stratford.
Okay. I am open and honest. So, that's my statement.
And that's all that we're,
I don't think any of us feel any
No,
different.
no,
Thank you.
no.
Well, you have to put yourself on the other side of the table and see things from where we see things. We're not privy to the information that you guys have. We're not privy to the information that you guys see. All the information that we get is a handout here online. So we're really relying on you guys being open and transparent and sharing all the information
I don't
with
know
us.
I don't know what information that we have that you
Yeah.
don't have.
Well, again,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
any-
hate to belay the issue of the open house with Suncor, but that half an hour prior to that meeting was critical for us, from our perspective.
But it was
I mean,
exactly the
you
same.
know well in this township, that's a hot button item.
It was exactly the same information, but whatever. We might as well move on.